Hey Jack, today we do a tear down.
And if we can get it inside the 10-minute timer, we'll do a bonus teardown from an email that you got not too long ago. So kick us off with the 10-minute timer, and I'm going to rock and roll into this cold outreach I got on LinkedIn. This would be, I suppose, an in-mail. So it has a subject line. I mean, if we're getting specific, this is a message to an open profile that I had.
Okay.
And here we go. Came across your profile is the subject line. Too bad. I saw the subject line and knew right away it was cold outreach. You feel the same?
Yeah, I mean, we got this rule about subject line that should just be about what you're going to talk about. So I don't
Yeah.
know if they're talking about like podcasting, then it should be just podcast. If it's about a deal or like, could be partnership, whatever. Like that does not actually add anything.
Except gives me a heads up that this person
Yeah,
doesn't know me. Right.
that's right. That's right.
We'll rewrite this, but let's dive in. Stick around. Here's how it goes. Jack, I came across your profile and had a thought. Okay, you can safely delete that.
Yep.
It doesn't grab attention. It doesn't add value. So let's pretend it started right here. What if we built a custom lead gen automation system for your agency? And I underlined it, Jeremy. You know why?
Yeah, I know.
At least they were reaching out to agency owners, and
Yeah,
they
they could say like, a lead generation system for, sales bread, right?
yeah.
Or
But
or, you know.
yeah, there's a lot of ways, but at least I am an agency, so I'm like, okay, finally the list matches the message. Right. What if we build a custom lead gen automation system for your agency based on your existing workflows? One that helps with lead scraping, focus on high intent leads, handles outreach across multiple channels with follow-ups, and pushes leads to book a call? Question mark. The idea is to replicate your tone and pace and have AI agents respond as soon as a lead enters the pipeline with a slight delay to keep it natural. This way you can bring your clients better results and productize your offer. Curious to hear what you think. So, boy, you know what the biggest problem with this is that it kind of sells, hey, you can use AI agents for things, but it does not do any job to sell their AI agent service.
Mm.
It's like a billboard saying smoke cigarettes without mentioning the brand itself. Like it
Oh, I
doesn't
see.
actually give me a good reason to trust them. There's no like, hey, we've done this for X agencies or we guarantee X result, that kind of thing.
True. No social proof, no authority, basically no influence factor really in
Yeah.
decision.
And you know what this would make people like me and maybe other recipients do is they may turn to Perplexity or ChatGPT. What are some good companies that do AI agent work, for lead generation,
Right.
and like actually find someone if this queues up a need. I mean, imagine if they did a simple thing where it's like, we'll make the first one on our dime so that you can see for yourself the quality. Like, okay, great. Now I'm not going to go look potentially for someone else to do this. But right now, you're just like queuing up a desire perhaps to
Right.
get an AI agent on the job. There's nothing about this person's accolades or credibility.
That's
You
interesting.
feel
I
the
didn't
same?
think of that. Yeah, no, I didn't think of that, but it's really well said. It's basically, hey,
Mm.
do you want an ice cream? We're selling ice cream. I'm like, oh yeah, I could get an ice cream downstairs.
There you go.
Let
Right.
me just get one. Yeah, thanks
That's right.
for mentioning it. Yeah.
So, curious to hear what you think. Now, there's some typos in here, Jeremy. Do you like that? You say
I
like,
didn't
oh,
even see the typo in curious to hear what you
so
think.
there's
I don't
no
see any
there's no
typo.
punctuation,
Well,
no
there's no
punctuation on
punctuation.
that one or the previous sentence. And I'm like,
Yeah.
if that was intentional, I think that's kind of actually cool.
There is a more fundamental problem than the punctuation here. It's like it ends up with like curious to hear what you think. Well, you're gonna stay curious because I'm not going to respond to you, right? The actual question mark is like two paragraphs above, and that's the one I would respond to. So by then, I already
Hmm,
forgot what the question was, to be honest. So it's
right.
like I don't know what to respond. So
100%. And it's a passive call to action. Curious to hear what you think.
yeah.
Right. So maybe we could help our viewer out a
So
little bit.
Yeah, I
and
mean,
do.
sorry, go ahead. Like, what were you thinking of a
Let's
CTA?
just start with a better subject line here.
Okay.
Um, let's do something like AI process for sales spread.
Not bad. Although I have a new theory, which is not to put the name of the company in the subject line. This is just like a quick theory that I have, which is basically when a coworker or anyone you know send you an email, they will never put the name of your company in your subject lines. So it kind of like gives it away straight away.
Hmm.
But again, that's fine. I probably would say something like, you know, handling replies.
I was just gonna say handling outreach, right?
Well, there you
Like,
go. We're not quite far, right?
yeah,
Because they're
sweet.
handling replies. Okay, cool. Like, yeah, I'm listening to you on handling replies.
Mm-hmm.
What's your take on that? And if
Bingo.
I'm not interested in handling replies, then that's okay too. I mean, we saves everyone's time. You're not
Mm-hmm.
reading. I'm not reading. It's fine. No one's losing time. Instead, like came across your profile, it's kind of like misleading in a sense that, yeah, so what? You know,
Yeah,
and you don't want, prospect that don't qualify to open your email. I just don't. Like if I want like a podcast guest or be a podcast guest or whatever about podcast, and I have a subject line that says podcast, someone's not interested in podcast, like I'm totally fine if they don't open my email. It's like no
right.
problem because
Saves everyone
saves
time.
times. If you try to get people to open with just obfuscated and sort of like confusion and stuff, it's like what's good gonna be? Like
Exactly.
you can delay it, but at some point it's gonna say, "Oh, it's about podcast." Well, I'm not interested. So it's like, why don't you put it up front? So anyway,
Yeah.
that's
Let me
small
think
points.
about one other thing, and then we're gonna get to our bonus teardown.
Okay, cool.
Okay, so essentially the strategy with this outreach is, what do you think if I built you a custom lead gen automation system?
It's
Okay.
not bad.
So, right. No,
Or
it's not good. No, it's not good, Jeremy. We don't like that. We don't like that. That's just like, what do you think? Whereas imagine if they said like, hey, I made a 4-minute video that shows how we go about building, lead gen automation systems for agencies that do a lot of outbound.
that's much better for sure.
Here's a link. You can check it out. You can see how it helps with lead scraping, handling outreach, and also pushes leads to a call. Right. And so okay, let me check out that video. That's pretty cool. And when you're on cutting edge things or you have a thing that's got curiosity built in, try the video element. If they would have done a different tack and they said like, hey, we'll do the first one on the house, we'll tackle like one repetitive task, like, getting leads to book a call. Can I,
Well, even better,
right?
Jack, like, ask them to qualify themselves, like, hey, how many leads do you have to reply per day? Or like whatever, like or system
I'm
works
not going to
very
reply to that one though, because I'm like,
okay.
what's in it for me? What's in it for me if you find that out?
That's a fair point. So it will need to be a sort of like exchange at some point.
Yeah.
Like, hey, do you,
Ah,
here's an access to
I'm
where's
going to
that?
do something. I'm going to do something that I literally have never done. And how many years have we done podcasting, Jeremy?
I don't know, but it's 400 episodes, so you calculate, you tell me.
So I got an email. This is great. Oh, it sucks that she used her real name, but just pretend that I'm gonna grab the actual. It's not a pretending. I'm just literally gonna drop in um, what somebody did, just like you said. Like, hey, like get them to qualify, right? And
Right.
now,
That's what I wanted.
in your words, you said like how many leads you reply to per day. Check out what I got like this morning, Jeremy. Essentially, she reaches out. She's like, "Hey, good to connect. I'm name at this company." And then right off the bat, she goes, "Curious, what are you using for prospect data right now? ZoomInfo, Apollo, Seamless, or something else?" She's essentially qualifying me, and I looked at this and I'm like, "I'm not telling you. Like,
Yeah, I don't
what?
like that.
I know you. I know how this movie ends. Like you work at a data provider. You're gonna measure yourself against what I tell you. All right, like
Yeah, I don't like that either. Because the angle when I say like I like that when you mention it at the beginning is I like the
yeah,
angle of like, hey, I'm doing research, I want to work with people and there is some exchange there. It's like, hey, let's, give me some information, and in exchange,
And
something
oh,
else happen, right?
bam,
So it's more
bam.
like a research, but of course, it doesn't qualify when you're doing it this way. I don't like that either.
Okay. But what's interesting, if this outreach I shared, Jeremy, we'll go over. We can ask our producer if
Yeah,
that's
yeah, sure.
okay.
I think they are good.
Yeah, they're pretty nice. They're pretty good guys. So, what would be interesting if she said like, "Hey, if you're using Zoom Info, Apollo, or Seamless, and you share like a sample list that you're getting from them, I'll, like I'll take some time out to build a list with our tool and show you how much more accurate our data is if you just want to do a side by side. And at least I'm getting something for sharing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? All right.
No, I do.
I think we can move on.
All right, cool.
Okay. Walk us through this one. S'il vous plaît, Jeremy.
So this one I actually quite like, because a lot of time when I talk about cold email, people think like, hey, it's people that are complete strangers, right? And the weird thing actually is like people who start at cold email, they always think, I need to find out someone who never heard of me so I could work. It's like, but that's not always the case. To me, a cold email means basically you never had a conversation with that person. And that's why the cold email is about, is to open a conversation with that person. Like, think about it like, maybe, it's a bit like, I don't know, I'm going to do a bad analogy, but like, let's say a movie star, people may know about that movie star, but if the movie star just send you an email, you may know that movie star, and then you will reply to that movie star, but it will still be cold email. So I don't like when people are thinking like cold email is really purely cold, like no one of both parties actually know about each other. So in this case, for example, 6 months ago, I signed up for a service, and to be honest, completely forgot about them, right? But they're reaching out to me, and that's the first time they do that. So to me, it looks very much like a cold email, but it's more like an informed cold email. Like they have a list of interested people or people who qualify.
Yeah, I call it a warm email.
Yeah, I will call it like lukewarm, because warm will be like, we already had a conversation, whether we actually, we had a call, we had a demo call, or all those sort of things. So none of this happened. So, okay, maybe semantics, but for me, it's lukewarm. It's definitely not ice cold, but it's not even, I don't
Get on with the program. Let's get
anyway,
lukewarm,
so I went to
whatever.
that program, and then they basically just sent me this email, and you could see like in green the thing that I really like. The title says never use credits, and then the line that really gets me is like, hey, you signed up a while ago and never used a single Firecrawl, which is their product, credit.
Yeah.
Can you share why? Would love to know if this is analytic or whatever. Like, I don't care.
Yeah.
So to me,
yeah,
those are the gems, because it basically build on the most important influence factor for me that resonate with me is reciprocity. They basically gave me a whole bunch of things and I didn't use it. And so I sort of like feel obliged to answer them like why I didn't use it. And they
love
did
that.
get a reply from me.
That's good. So what was the play here, Jeremy? Is it true that above all, this was, I think, what we call a win-loss analysis, and they weren't so concerned about winning you back, and they wanted to maybe improve their onboarding?
Yeah,
or do you think? Okay.
No, I think it makes sense. Like we do that too on quick mail. Like sometimes, some people don't convert. We just would like to know why. Like what could we do to improve? Not necessarily to win you back. And I think that's well done. But like I circle like 2 red box, which I think don't add anything. Like hope you're doing well. Like obviously, let's just like drop it. It's useless. And then looking forward to hear from you is like to hearing from you is like, well, what is that adding anyway? Like it's again about you. It doesn't add anything.
Bingo.
But I do like the fact, like, hey, we gave you the whole, bunch of things. You decided not to use it. We just would like to know why. And
Sweet.
It doesn't cost me much. It's a reciprocity. I love it.
So let's just wrap here. In order to make this work, and by the way, let's just go ahead and flat out say doing this is a good idea. If you have a SaaS with trials, or maybe you've got a service that they signed up and took a call with you but never got back, like this is a good good idea to be throwing this out there. But if I'm not mistaken, the subject line, never use credits, is perfect. And then you just lead with, you signed up a while ago, never used a single credit. Would love to know if this is an analytics error, or you have another account or haven't got to it, or any other reason. Can you share your thoughts? Question mark. That's what it
needs. That's what it needs.
Bingo.
And it is applicable to a lot of things. You know, I know you and I really love this sort of like sending a complimentary basket of fruits or whatever to someone, because, you know, if you have a fruit company or whatever, you send like a complimentary sample of your product. You could definitely use this tactic. 3 months later, it's like, hey, we sent you a free basket of food, never had the chance to get any feedback. You know, can you quickly tell me, you know, like, oh, you didn't order anything. Like, use this reciprocity to actually, you know, get the answer back. And if the ask is small enough, like, hey, what happened for us? We just went with someone else, you know, simple as that. But if the ask is small enough, then, you know, people will answer, you know.
Wonderful. Well, we did a 2-part teardown. Thanks, Jeremy, for
Funny.
Yeah, for going through both of them and sharing that one. It's a good example that don't think of cold outreach as exclusively helpful for your cold audience. It's very effective for the, what do we call it, lukewarm crowd.
Lukewarm, because I never talked to them. I didn't even remember them, to be honest. So it really felt like cold anyway.
Sweet.
It's like, they gave me all that stuff for free. I didn't use
Help
it.
them out. Help them out.
Yeah.
All right, cool, Jeremy. Well, thank you. Check out salesbread.com, check out quickmail.com, and we'll catch you next time.
Will do. Bye, Jack.
Oh, yeah. See ya.